Hello, today I'm speaking with Taylor Archer again on the topic of catalyst loading. And in our last video, we discussed that in general, for normal fixed bed reactors, loading the full volume of catalyst tends to be more important than making sure that the outages on the loading diagram match up exactly. However, are some exceptions to this rule. We talked about a few in the first video. Taylor, what is an important consideration when loading secondary reformer catalyst?
Hey, great point, Karen. And the secondary reformer is a little bit unique because it has an inverted air nozzle or burner in the top of the vessel. And when these burners and vessels are designed, a lot of CFD modeling is done to ensure that there's sufficient space between that burner and the target tile or top of the catalyst bed, and in order to promote good burning at the top, but also to avoid flame impingement on the catalyst itself. And we try not to make this space any smaller, if at all possible, because this can lead to issues like flame impingement, just mentioned, or ruby formation or sintering on the catalyst, which can have some very undesirable effects of loss of activity or increased pressure drop, and eventually channeling and flow distribution issues. So we really want to be very careful when designing and specifying a volume for the secondary reformers.
Yes, excellent point. We need to be careful not to make the space between the burner and target tiles smaller without ensuring that a CFD analysis is completed that supports this size decrease. But increasing the space on the other side, reducing the catalyst volume is less of an issue from the burner standpoint. However, catalyst volume reduction can lead to reduced lifetime or performance. So, of course, this should be vetted with your catalyst provider as well. What other times would warrant like a CFD analysis or investigation like this?
Well, that's another great question. And I would say any plants that are debottlenecking and increasing rates, which plants seem to be doing a lot of these days, this can have the effect of increasing the superficial velocity in the reactor and elongating that flame front from the air nozzle. So a thorough review can ensure you're not inviting any issues in this reactor that we just talked about.
Excellent point. I know that I have lots of plants that seem to review and evaluate production rate increases from time to time. It's something that comes up. Any other concerns to mention with secondary reformer loadings specifically?
Yeah, I think one of the good mention here is that after all the inspections are done and you're ready to start loading, the outlet distributor in a typical secondary reformer is a brick dome, or some plants call these as refer to them as a table. And these are made out of bricks that because metallurgy would be very challenging to survive in this type of operating environment. And this dome or table should be very well protected, and it's recommended to load that bottom layer of the support, the large support balls, by bucketing them in. A lot of times catalyst handling contractors will fill buckets up and lower them down by rope. Of course, taking all the necessary safety precautions for the technician that's in the vessel to be standing not underneath that suspended bucket of support balls. But then that way they can be placed very carefully manually on that bottom layer to prevent any damage to the dome. And then after the dome is covered, of course, they can go back to sock loading in a traditional way there.
Good point. Use a bucketing method for the supports instead of just dropping them from the top. That is not recommended. Thank you, Taylor. Next up in our catalyst loading topic, our final video, I would like to discuss overage ordering. That's kind of something that comes up as well for the primary reformer and the ammonia converter specifically.
That sounds great, Karen. Count me in.
Thanks.